The human engineer Mark was never supposed to touch alien tech. His orders were simple: maintain the station's human systems and leave the alien artifacts alone. But curiosity was a fire that burned in him, and when he was left alone in the research bay, his eyes kept drifting to the strange device sitting on the platform. It was small, no larger than a helmet, glowing faintly with blue symbols that shifted like liquid light. Mark tilted his head, his tool still in his hand. "Looks harmless enough," he muttered. His fingers brushed across the surface, and the device pulsed as if it recognized his touch. The alien girl, Liara, stood nearby, watching him with suspicion. Her skin was a brilliant violet, her hair white like starlight, and her eyes sharp with annoyance. She folded her arms and spoke in a firm voice. "Human, you should not touch that. It is not for your kind." Mark flashed her a nervous grin. "Relax, I'm just checking it. It's not even active." Before she could argue, the device came alive. Symbols burned brighter, the air around it hummed, and a low vibration filled the room. Mark stepped back quickly, raising his hands. "Okay, maybe it is active." Liara's eyes widened. She tried to rush forward, but a beam of light shot out and wrapped around her chest. Her body froze for a moment. Then the glow faded. She staggered back, her cheeks flushing purple against her skin. Her eyes darted down to herself, then back at Mark. You fool," she stammered, her hands trembling as she pointed at herself. "What did you do to me?" Mark's jaw dropped. He had no idea what just happened. He held up his hands quickly. "I swear, I didn't mean to. It just turned on by itself." Lyra's face burned brighter. She pressed her hands against her chest, her expression shifting between fury and embarrassment. "You activated an augmentation device. It was not meant to be touched, and now look." Her voice cracked, her usual confident tone broken. Mark blinked, his eyes flicking toward her, then quickly away. His face turned red as he rubbed the back of his neck. I think something changed." Her glare could have cut steel. She stepped closer, her voice sharp. "Something? You clumsy human. This is no small accident. You." She stopped mid-sentence, realizing other aliens in the lab were staring at her. Their eyes widened in curiosity, and whispers spread like wildfire. Lyra's cheeks burned even hotter. She turned back to Mark, her voice lowered but fierce. "This is your fault. You must fix it. No one else can know what you did." Mark swallowed hard, sweat on his brow. "Fix it? I don't even know what I did in the first place. This thing isn't labeled in English." "You know," she groaned in frustration, her hands covering her face. Her whole body shook with embarrassment. "Unbelievable, out of all the engineers in the galaxy, I get stuck with the one who turns an ancient amplifier into a toy." Mark tried not to laugh, though nerves twisted in his gut. He leaned toward the device cautiously. "Okay, maybe if I just press this." "Don't!" Liara shouted, lunging forward. She grabbed his wrist before he could touch it again. Her skin was warm against his, and for a second, their eyes locked, hers wide with panic, his wide with surprise. The room fell silent. The hum of the device had faded, but the tension between them remained. Mark cleared his throat, trying to ignore the heat in his face. "All right, so touching it again is a bad idea, you think?" Liara snapped, then quickly turned away. Her hands tightened around her arms as she whispered under her breath, "If the others find out, they will think I allowed this. They will think I am weak." Mark's frown deepened. For all her anger, her voice carried something else: fear. He sighed, rubbing his temples. "Look, I really didn't mean for this to happen. If it makes you feel any better, I'll help you fix it. Somehow." Her glowing eyes flicked back to him, filled with doubt. "You? Fix what you broke?" Humans are reckless, clumsy, and blind to things they do not understand. "Maybe," he admitted, "but I don't walk away when I mess up, so you're stuck with me until we figure this out." For a moment, she said nothing. Her face softened slightly, though her blush remained. She let out a heavy breath and muttered, "Then you must not speak of this to anyone. If they learn what happened, they will not laugh. They will try to take the device, and they will try to take me. Mark stiffened. Take you? Why? Liara hesitated, then glanced at the device with unease. Because what it awakened is more dangerous than you realize. The words lingered in the air like a storm on the horizon. Mark felt a chill run through him. He looked at Liara, who still glared at him through flushed cheeks, and realized this was no ordinary mistake. He had touched something forbidden, changed something he couldn't undo, and now the fate of them both was tied to a single accident, and somewhere deep inside the device, a faint glow still pulsed, waiting. Liara stormed out of the lab after the accident, her steps quick, her cheeks burning a deep shade of violet. She wrapped her arms around herself as if she could hide what the device had done. Her mind was spinning. How could one careless human cause so much chaos with a single touch? Mark hurried after her, his boots echoing in the metal corridor. Liara, wait, I said I was sorry. She spun on him, her white hair whipping around her shoulders. Her glowing eyes narrowed. Sorry? You have no idea what you've done. Do you think an apology fixes this? Mark raised his hands in surrender. No, but yelling at me doesn't fix it either. We need to figure this out, together. Her lips pressed into a thin line. She turned away quickly. Her hands trembled as she whispered under her breath. Together, with you? Impossible, but her mind betrayed her, replaying the moment when he grabbed her wrist before she touched the device again. The warmth of his hand, the steady look in his eyes, the way he didn't flinch even as her people whispered around them. It left her unsettled. As they walked through the station, other aliens stared. Their eyes lingered on Liara with curiosity. Some whispered behind their hands. Their gazes made her blush harder. She pulled her cloak tighter, glaring at Mark. They're looking at me because of you. Mark frowned. Me? You're the one glowing like a lantern. Her eyes widened in horror. She rushed to a mirror on the wall. Her skin shimmered faintly, her body radiating with subtle energy. She gasped, covering her face. No, this is worse than I thought. Mark scratched his head, trying to lighten the mood. Well, you look kind of amazing. Her head snapped toward him, her face burning. Amazing? She stammered. Do not mock me, human. I'm not, he said quickly, realizing he stepped into dangerous territory. I mean, you're glowing like a star. It's beautiful, not bad. Her heart skipped, and for a second she couldn't breathe. Her chest tightened as she turned away, hiding her face. Idiot, she muttered softly. They reached her quarters, and she yanked him inside before anyone could. Slamming the door shut, she paced back and forth. Her voice came fast. Listen carefully. If anyone learns what happened, they will not laugh. They will not joke. They will want the device, and worse, they will want me. Mark leaned against the wall, arms crossed. Want you? Why? Liara stopped pacing, her eyes locked on his. Her blush deepened as she spoke quietly. Because the device awakened a dormant power in my blood. Power that my people have hidden for generations. If they realize I carry it now, they will fight to control me or destroy me. Mark straightened, the weight of her words sinking in. So this accident made you a target. Her hands curled into fists. Yes, and it is your fault. Mark exhaled slowly. Then it's also my responsibility to protect you. No one's touching you while I'm here. Lyra's face went crimson. She turned away, her voice trembling. You say such reckless things. Do you not understand what it means to stand beside me? To protect me? It is not a promise of safety. It is a death sentence. Mark smirked faintly, though his eyes were serious. I've faced worse besides. If you're stuck with this power, then you shouldn't face it alone. Her heart pounded louder. She hugged herself, whispering, Why? Why do humans say such things so easily? The silence stretched between them, broken only by the faint hum of energy still radiating from her. She shifted uncomfortably, still blushing. We must find a way to reverse it. Do you understand? Whatever happens, we undo this. Mark nodded. We'll try, but if we can't, Then you'll just have to live with being extraordinary. Her face burned. She glared at him. Stop saying things like that. But he only grinned. And for the first time since the accident, she felt her anger weaken, replaced with confusion. And something warmer. That night, Liara sat alone in her chamber. The silver pendant Mark had given her earlier resting in her palm. She stared at it, her cheeks still flushed. Why does he speak as if he sees me? Not as a weakness, but as something more, she whispered, outside her door. Mark leaned against the wall, arms folded. He had no idea how to fix the alien device, but he knew one thing for certain. He wasn't going to let her face this alone, and in the shadows of the station, others watched, their eyes gleaming. Word of the princess-like alien girl's strange new glow had already begun to spread. The accident was no longer a secret, and danger was coming. Liara woke in the middle of the night, her body trembling. A strange warmth pulsed through her veins, glowing faintly beneath her violet skin. She pressed her hand against her chest, her breath quick and shallow. The accident with the device was not fading, it was spreading. Her reflection in the mirror made her gasp. Lines of faint light traced across her arms like living tattoos, shifting and moving as if alive. She stumbled back, her heart pounding. No, this cannot be real, she whispered. A knock at the door startled her. Mark's voice came from the other side, low but firm. Liara, are you all right? I heard something. She hesitated, shame and fear battling inside her. Then she whispered sharply, "Stay out." But Mark ignored the warning and stepped inside. His eyes widened when he saw the glow moving across her skin. "Whoa," he muttered. "You're lighting up like a star." Her face flushed crimson. She covered herself with her cloak, glaring at him. "Do not look at me," she snapped, her voice trembling. "This is your fault. You did this to me." Mark raised his hands in surrender. But his tone stayed calm. "Yeah, maybe I triggered it. But whatever that is, it's not just an accident. It looks like power, not a curse." Liara shook her head violently. "You don't understand. This energy was sealed long ago, my people feared it. We swore never to awaken it. Those who carried it were hunted. They called us cursed." Mark frowned, stepping closer despite her glare. If it was sealed, maybe it wasn't because it was evil. Maybe it was because they didn't know how to handle it. Her breath caught, her glowing eyes locked on his. For a moment she saw no mockery in his expression, only steady belief. It confused her more. Then the energy surging inside her. Suddenly, the glow in her body flared. Light burst from her hand, striking the wall with a crack. A scorch mark burned across the metal. Both of them froze. Mark let out a low whistle. Okay, that was intense. Lyra's knees buckled. She collapsed onto the chair, clutching her arms. "Do you see now? This is why I am afraid. I cannot control it. If others see this, they will fear me. They will use me." Mark crouched in front of her, his eyes steady. "Then we make sure no one uses you. We figure this out, together." Her heart pounded at his words. She bit her lip, her cheeks glowing hotter than her skin. "Together." "Why do you keep saying that?" "Because it's true," he replied simply. "You don't have to face this alone." For a moment, silence filled the room. She looked away, whispering softly, "You speak like you've known me all your life. Yet we are enemies. Why do humans speak such words without fear?" Mark gave a faint grin. "Maybe it's because we're reckless. Or maybe it's because when we see someone worth fighting for, we don't let go." Her breath caught again. She turned her face, hiding the faint smile that tried to appear. "Idiot," she muttered. The air between them grew heavy with unspoken feelings. But before either could speak, the alarms of the station blared. A sharp red glow filled the corridor outside. Voices shouted in the distance. Mark stood quickly, grabbing his tool belt. "Something's wrong. Stay here." Lyra's eyes widened. She felt the glow in her body react to the alarm, the energy humming louder. "No," she said firmly, standing to her feet. "If they are here for the device, they are here for me too." Mark frowned. You're not ready to fight like this. You can't control it." Her eyes burned with determination, even through her blush. "Maybe not, but I refuse to hide. If this power exists inside me now, then I will use it. Better me than the ones who want to steal it." The door burst open before they could argue further. Armed intruders rushed into the chamber, their eyes gleaming with greed. "There she is," one hissed. "The girl with the awakened blood." Mark moved fast, grabbing a wrench from his belt. But before he could strike, Lyra's body glowed bright. Energy exploded outward in a wave. The intruders were thrown back into the corridor. Groaning in pain, Liara stared at her hands in shock, trembling. I did that," Mark grinned, his eyes shining with pride. "Yeah, you did, and you saved us both." Her cheeks burned again. She turned her head, muttering, "Stop looking at me like that." But deep inside, her fear was slowly being replaced with something else, hope, as the station alarms continued to echo. Liara and Mark stood together, for the first time since the accident. She did not feel like a victim. She felt like a warrior, and in the shadows beyond the station, others had witnessed the burst of light. Their whispers carried far and wide. The ancient power has awakened, and it belongs to her. The echoes of the station's alarm faded into a heavy silence. Smoke lingered in the corridor where the intruders had fallen. Liara stood trembling, her hands still glowing faintly. She had never felt such raw power burst from her before. Her heart raced as she whispered to herself, "I cannot control this." Mark stepped beside her, gripping the wrench still in his hand. His face was calm, though his eyes stayed sharp. "You don't need to control it yet. You just saved us. That means it's not only a curse, it's a weapon, and weapons can be learned." Lyra's cheeks flushed, not from embarrassment this time, but from the weight of his words. She turned her face away, muttering, "You speak as if it is simple." "Nothing's simple," Mark replied, "but we don't have a choice, because they're not done coming for you." As if to prove his point, the lights flickered, heavy. Footsteps echoed deeper in the station. This time, more intruders poured in, armored and armed. Their leader's voice boomed across the hall. "By order of the council, the girl with the awakened blood belongs to us." Lyra's blood ran cold. She recognized their insignia, mercenaries hired by powerful nobles. Her own people had sent them. Her fists clenched as shame burned inside her. "My people betrayed me," she whispered. "They want me destroyed or chained." Mark glanced at her, his jaw tightening. "Then they'll have to go through me first." The mercenaries advanced, rifles raised. Mark shoved Lyra behind him, his wrench looking pitiful against their weapons. "Stay low," he muttered, but before the first shot fired, Lyra's glow surged again. Her body hummed with energy, and she screamed, "Stay away." A wave of light burst from her, slamming into the mercenaries. They staggered, their weapons shorting out as sparks erupted. Mark blinked in awe. "Remind me never to get on your bad side." Liara collapsed against the wall, her body trembling from the effort. Mark caught her before she fell. "Easy," he whispered. "Don't burn yourself out." Her eyes met his, glowing faintly. "I cannot stop it, Mark. Every time I feel fear, it grows. Every time I try to control it, it slips." Mark's voice softened. "Then don't face it alone. Let me carry it with you." Her face turned red, her heart pounding. She tore her gaze away. "You say reckless things again. Why? Why risk yourself for me?" "Because," he said simply, "if I walk away now, then who else will stand beside you?" Before she could respond, a loud crash shook the station. A second wave of mercenaries stormed through the lower deck, heavier, stronger. Their leader wore reinforced armor. His eyes burned as he pointed at Liara. "Seize her alive. Kill thee. Human if you must." Mark tightened his grip on his wrench. But he knew they couldn't hold out long. Liara stood weak, her glow flickering. The mercenaries moved in, surrounding them. Then, suddenly, the device in the lab pulsed again. Its light bled through the walls, humming like a living heart. The mercenaries froze, whispering nervously. The artifact is active, Liara gasped, clutching her chest. It is calling me. Mark glanced at her. Calling you? What does that mean? Her voice shook. The device and I. We are connected now. It awakened me, and now it will not be silent until I return. The mercenaries heard her words and charged forward with greater desperation. Mark pulled Liara close, whispering fiercely, "Then we reach it first, no matter what." Together, they ran through the corridors as blaster fire lit up the halls. Mark shielded her when he could, deflecting strikes with raw determination. Lyra's power flared when fear surged, sending arcs of energy into their pursuers. They burst into the lab, the device floating slightly above the platform, glowing brighter than ever. It pulsed in rhythm with Lyra's heartbeat. She staggered forward, her hands trembling as she reached for it. Mark grabbed her wrist gently. "Wait, are you sure? What if it takes more from you?" Her lips trembled, but her voice was firm. "If I do nothing, they will take me. They will take this power and destroy everything. I would rather risk myself than let them win." Mark's grip tightened, his eyes burning with defiance. "Then I'll risk it with you." The mercenaries crashed into the room, surrounding them. Their leader snarled, "Hand her over, human. This power belongs to us." Liara looked at Mark, her face flushed with fear and determination. "Mark, hold me steady." He nodded without hesitation, wrapping his arms around her shoulders. Grounding her, she placed her hands on the device. The glow exploded, filling the room with blinding light. The mercenaries cried out, shielding their eyes. Some collapsed as their weapons melted under the energy. The device fused with her touch, sinking into her skin like liquid fire. Her body glowed brilliantly, arcs of light dancing across her hair and eyes. She gasped, her voice echoing with strange harmony. "It is inside me now." Mark tightened his grip as she swayed. "Stay with me, Liara. Don't lose yourself." Her glowing eyes turned toward him, her lips trembling into a faint smile. "I am still here." The mercenaries fled in panic, shouting of curses and doom. The chamber fell silent, except for Lyra's rapid breaths. The glow slowly dimmed, but did not vanish. It lingered inside her, a living power bound to her very soul. Mark brushed her hair back from her face, whispering, "You did it. You're still you." Her face flushed, her heart racing faster than the glow. She looked away, muttering, "Idiot human. Always catching me when I fall." But deep inside, she knew the truth. His presence had steadied her, kept her grounded. Without him, she might have been consumed, and in the shadows beyond the station, hidden eyes watched, their voices whispering. Through the dark, the power is no longer sealed. The girl has become the vessel. The danger had only just begun.